Welcome. Welcome. Trying to get everything set up here. This is Speak for Impact, how to go from talking to connecting. And Instagram isn't connecting. So what are we going to do about that, right? I ask you. So it looks like everything else is connected. So feeling really good about that. Let me just double check. Woo. Yep, we are good. We are good there. So let's jump in. Welcome. Today we are talking about speaking for impact, how to go from talking to connecting. I'm looking at you, leaders, business owners, professionals, people who want to be remembered and not just heard. Today we're talking about the single biggest difference between great speakers and talkers. And it's not what you think, right? Great speakers don't focus on performing, they focus on connecting. So for those of you who are joining live, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. Go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know you're here so I can interact with you, call out your name. I would really like that. So I'm curious, for those of you who are here live or watching on the replay, go ahead and let me know. Say hi, let me know. When you speak from your opinion, from your experience, do people feel you or just hear you? Let me put it this way. This is a key question for today. If connection is the currency of leadership, are you going to be rich or broke? That's the question for today. And I want to help you connect so you can make a bigger impact and get everything working in the right way to support you and what you want to do. Now, speaking of what you want to do, I'm really having trouble connecting with Instagram. This is the second week in a row Instagram has given me nothing but headaches. Have to think about that. Let's forget about Instagram and let's jump in. I have another question for you. If you ever have left a meeting, a talk, or even a video thinking, I said all the right things, why didn't it land? Why didn't they react or connect? Or why didn't they get it? Right? Hello, I see Elborg is here. Welcome back from last week. Hello from Germany, Frankfurt area. So glad to have you here. Yeah, if you've ever wondered why that happens or feel frustrated with that feeling, I can tell you it's not just about confidence or charisma. We've talked about that last week. It's also not about introvert versus extrovert. It's because you're missing connection. So who this is for, who's going to benefit the most from today? Leaders who want to build real trust and not just deliver polished messages. Entrepreneurs who want clients and collaborators to feel their message. You want to inspire action, right? And professionals who want their words to resonate online, in meetings, or in camera. However it is, recorded or live. Why this is important: connection is the multiplier for your message. It's the multiplier for your message. So you can have all the right words, but if people don't feel you, they won't remember you. They won't follow you. They won't hire you. They won't click like. They won't work for you. They won't buy from you. So whatever it is you want, whatever action you want to inspire, you're missing that connection, right? I'm talking about, we're gonna get into some mind shifts today. And one of the key ones is I'm talking about a shift in focus from me. How do I look? How do I sound? What words am I using? To how can I deliver what's needed? Because your audience is listening. They're waiting for you to offer what you have to offer. They're hungry for it, right? And once you can focus there, everything changes. So the main idea, if you only listen to 2 minutes of this session, the main idea is we are going to figure out exactly how to stop trying to impress and start focusing on connection, because connection is your message multiplier. If you want a message multiplier, like, give me a thumbs up in the chat. Let me know. Let me see that and hear that. I'm just double checking my channels. make sure everyone's seeing everything. Everyone except for Instagram. Really sorry about that. Hello, YouTube followers. So glad to see you popping in live. Love it. Love it. Love seeing you there. All right, let's go on. So a lot of people, like if you think of the people who are publishing now, the creators, the people you follow, the people you trust, their posts, what they actually, the ones you like, the ones you trust, the ones you share with others, it's someone you feel gets you, right? You're like, yeah, they see me, they get me. Like, this is so spot on. And so that's what I want to help you do. And you might think, all right, Elizabeth, okay, that's cool. But how? But how? That's what we're talking about today. Let's jump into it. And first, we're going to start, as we did last week, as we often do, with a mindset shift. We're going to do a quick mindset shift here because connection begins with curiosity. That's the first step, the first element, right? Curiosity. So when I'm speaking or when I'm at an event in person or even online, when I focus on being curious, on curiosity, I automatically become more present and less self-conscious. I'm shifting the focus, as I said before, away from how do I look? How do I sound? Oh, what's my hair doing? To what's happening? What are people saying? Ooh, what's missing? So focus on being curious and you automatically become more present and less self-conscious because now it's no longer about me, right? The second way we can do that, I see I'm getting some messages here. Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting some feedback, comments. Thank you for joining. So glad to have you here live. Really appreciate that. Love the support, love the live. And we are talking specifically about how to be more present, how to create connection in the moment live. And I just got a little trouble from LinkedIn. I think we're back in. Yes. All right. Hmm? Not understanding here. Yes. Okay, great. So we are talking about a mindset shift from to curiosity. So it's about focusing on being curious, like actually aware and being present where I am, asking real questions, not just rehearsed ones. People can smell that. Like they can tell it's not real, it's not in the moment, it's not spontaneous. And when you're focused on being curious, it actually makes your tone warmer. It changes your voice. Your eyes change, your eyes get a little softer, the energy's more open. All of these micro expressions, if you've ever looked at those or studied those micro expressions that we as humans pick up on a subconscious level, but are totally hard to fake. That's what makes like Academy Award winners in acting because they're so hard to fake. So just by shifting your mindset, you will also shift all your micro expressions naturally, and it's authentic. So one thing I like to do and I suggest my clients to do is try this before your next talk or meeting. Quick question, ask myself, what do they need from me right now? What do they need to hear? What do they need to know? What can I offer right now? And that's a great way to shift the focus away from how do I look? How do I sound? How do I feel? To how can I be helpful? So I have a question for you, those of you who are live specifically. How often do you ask questions out of curiosity, just asking questions in a meeting? So most people have meetings way too often during the day, right? The most complained about thing about work is work culture is too many meetings. So how often do you ask questions? Give me a percentage here. Are you asking, every single meeting? Are you asking only 50% of the time? While you're writing that in the chats, while you're letting me know what your percentage is for asking questions out of curiosity, not leading questions, not report to me questions, but really curiosity questions. I'm going to give you a story about one of my clients, and I'm not going to share her name, but she told me, I'm going to read it as a quote. I used to prepare my lines, but now I prepare my mindset. Curiosity first. I love this. I love this story. And she talked about how the shift, changed her nervousness or anxiety totally away from that and put the focus on other things, on what the people were doing, on being present. And it totally changed the way people listen. So huge win there. Mindset shift, easy mindset shift with immediate results. That's what I like to give you in these quick lunches. Welcome to those of you who are just showing up live now. Welcome. Today we're talking about Speak for Impact, how to go from just talking to connecting. And second thing we want to talk about is kind of the what and how. So we have this mindset shift. Now we want to get into the nitty gritty. How to help people feel connected, very practically speaking. So people feel seen. People feel connected, seen, acknowledged when you pause and respond. So this is practical action steps. Here's a little bit of a myth buster for you. Confidence isn't speed. So many times I have to tell my clients, people I'm working with, even presenters, just slow down. Slow down. Confidence isn't speed, it's presence. Now, I'm curious today, who is in the room? Who is listening here today live and on the replay? Are you more of a fast talker or a slow talker? Just let me know in the comments. You can even do an F for fast and S for slow. Just let me know. Bump, bump, bump. Put that in. I'm really curious because a pause, many people feel afraid of silence, right? It's like that awkward pause, whether it's in one-on-one communication, presentations, live streaming, but a pause actually is a gift. It gives people space to think, to process, to feel. If you just told a really emotionally triggering story, give people time to feel that, right? And that's when connection happens. That's when real connection happens, in that space. And so the pause is a gift to let that happen. A pause is actually a gift for yourself, or when I do it, it's a gift for me too. It gives me time to think. Elbor, we got your response. We've got a fast talker generally, a fast talker. So maybe some of these tips are specifically for you today. Maybe fast talkers, I know I have been guilty of this as well, but bulldozing over those connection moments, just bulldozing it over. Okay, and we got an F and an S, an F and an S. So it depends on the context, which is fantastic. That's good. That's what we want to be able to do, to be able to access both of those skills, both of those tools, both fast and slow speaking. Another tip is to listen and respond to what is actually said and not just what you anticipate, not what you think's going to be said or what you rehearsed. And this can be tricky for some people to do at first, specifically in sales or in awkward conversations when you anticipate people are going to respond in a specific way, conflicts, negotiation, job interviews. So listen to what is actually said. Ask about that. Lean in, respond. And I want to say I have a verbal highlighter technique. So this is a list of 23 different points, ways to highlight the way you speak, like a little prop here, like this kind of highlighter, but with your voice. How to highlight things you say, what has meaning, what has less meaning, to emphasize different aspects of what you're saying in your message, regardless how long or short it is. And these are techniques to help you really put the accent where it matters, including silence. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and write verbal highlighter, and I'll try and get that to you after the session. And while you're writing that, because I know everyone's writing that, whether you're in live and in the replay, because it's so good, so useful. I want to give you an example of something I do in every live stream or live in-person conversation, because it matters there too. I like to make a point of looking at my audience, getting eye contact. It's kind of hard to get eye contact on live streaming right here, right now, but I can see your comments. I can call out a name. In fact, I have a comment right now from Elboy, and she said, sorry, I meant to say slow. So more of a slow talker. Great. So that's to your advantage. Maybe you're already giving pauses for people to reflect and feel what you're saying, which is fantastic. That's what we want. And not bulldozing over that. But do make sure not to use too many filler words that are filling up those pauses, because that's another risk factor, even for slow talkers, because sometimes the silence still feels awkward. But in every conversation, as I mentioned, I like to look at my audience. Eye contact is awesome. Sometimes with floodlights, if it's a very large stage situation, you can't make eye contact, but giving pause and trying to get a vibe and feel the energy of the room is still a wonderful step to take. Or in live events like this, call out names, read a comment, one reaction. That moment of acknowledgement, it builds connection instantly for both people. And this is the time in our live session when I share with you my personal pet peeve. I need to take a moment. It's so upsetting. So many times I watch live streamers going full speed ahead and don't even bother to look at the comments. Don't even comment, read them, engage. Now, I understand when there's a flood of comments, it's impossible to get to everyone. It does break the flow, but one or two, pull out something that's of use for the audience. It adds to the live experience. That's why we're live. Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox now. Back to normal energy. So the third thing I want to talk about today is another myth buster. A myth buster right here. Vulnerability. Most people think vulnerability can't be vulnerable, can't show my awkwardness, can't be weird, can't make mistakes. But vulnerability is your credibility. There's a direct link, especially for leaders. The best leaders, when you think about it, they don't hide their humanness. They use it. They lean in. They let people see that you care, that you've been there. And here I want to raise one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou, and I'm even going to put it in the comments because I feel it's so powerful and I don't want anyone to miss it. So I'll put it right there. Boop. And I'm going to show that in the stream. Here it is. So she says, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel, from Maya Angelou. And that is so true. It's so true. When I think of my favorite teacher in second grade, I have no memory of what she said to me, the details or what she did, maybe a few fuzzy stories about Mr. S socks, but I will never forget how she made me feel. I will never forget how she made me feel. And for that, I'm always grateful. And that's what you can offer to your people as well. And remember, authentic stories don't make you look weak. They make people feel. They make people feel. They trigger something inside of us. And they make you relatable. So please remember, you don't need to be perfect. You need to be present. Look at me. Ta-da! I'm not perfect. My hair certainly isn't perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. I want to give you an example story here. I was giving a keynote presentation live in person, not streaming, and I was a mess. I admit it wasn't that long ago, but I was a complete mess, not because of the topic, content, or setting, but it was election night. I'm a US American citizen, and it was election night USA, and I had all the feelings, all the feelings. And I don't know why I didn't notice that date conflict when I arranged the talk, but human, huh? In any case, I was emotionally a complete mess. I was a wreck. So what did I do? I was standing up front. My hands were shaking. I was nervous. Cold sweat, you name it. And I was talking about presenting. So really awkward, right? So I called it out. I called it out. I mentioned my shaking hands. I told the audience how nervous I was, how I felt. And I followed with, but that's why it's so important for me to talk to you tonight, because the message I'm sharing with you matters. And that small human moment of, I'm supposed to be able to do this really well, but I'm failing, that small human moment landed because people trust people. So now I'm curious, which one of these 3 points that we talked about today, which one of these 3 points would you say is the toughest for you? Is it the vulnerability? So which is the toughest for you? Drop that in the comments. Curiosity, pausing, or vulnerability. You can do C for curiosity, P for pausing, or V for vulnerability, and let me know. While you're doing that, I'm going to drop the key points here, especially for those who are just dropping in. Hello and welcome. Welcome. We are talking about speaking for impact. Speaking for impact, how to go from talking to connecting. And this mental shift we talk about today is making your goal more, sorry, phew, I got a little befuddled there. So make your goal of speaking less about impressing and more about connecting. Make the goal of speaking less to impress and more to connect, because connection is your greatest credibility and message multiplier. So next week, we're rounding up to the half-hour mark, trying to keep these short and sweet for lunch bites, little lunch bites every week in the month of November. And next week, we're talking about how one conversation can change everything. I'm going to put the link for that in the comments. And I will also tell you, while I'm popping that in there, that it is on Black Friday. It's on YouTube, it's on Instagram, and it's for sure on LinkedIn Live. That's what the link is for. And please remember, your audience doesn't need your perfection. They don't even want it. They need your truth. They need your core message. What is it that you believe without the shadow of a doubt? They need your truth. And will you give it to them? If you're giving me a resounding yes, go ahead and drop that in the comments. Let me know, or give me a private message. Send me a DM. Let's connect. And I'm offering for Black Friday a special one-to-one speaking for impact session, one-to-one with me. And I'm offering it. There were 10, they're kind of going away. There's about half still remaining. People are taking a jump on the early, I opened the door early, oops. So if you still want early access, you can still get it. And it's a discounted price of only 95 euros instead of 250. So excellent opportunity. We'd love to have you jump on that. And again, if you're also interested in the verbal highlighting, 23 points of verbal highlighting mastery, and go ahead and drop that. Let me know. Let's connect and start this conversation together. So we're ending 4 minutes early today, and these are 4 minutes I'm gifting to you because your time matters. I respect your time, and I'm giving you this pause. Block out a next half hour next Friday, Black Friday. Meet me here. Same channel, same vibe, but a lot of new input information. We are going to be doing myth busters, mindset shifts, and practical information you can implement and use right now to start changing how people listen, lean in, and listen to you. Thanks for joining me. This is Unmute Your Voice. My name is Elizabeth. Thanks for joining, and have a great weekend.